Last Tuesday was the filing deadline for many offices for the primary election, including the office of precinct committee person. Voters typically think of the primary as a time for the voters in the major political parties to nominate their candidates for offices like governor, state senate, and state representative. But it is also the election where thousands of representatives of the Democratic and Republican parties are up for election. The precinct committee person elections are different than any other position on the primary ballot because the state statute governing their election requires that the parties elect a committee person of each sex for every 500 voters in a precinct. Unlike any other filing form for any other office, the PCP form contains check boxes for precinct committee man and precinct committee woman. However, on March 1st, we received a PCP filing form where the candidate had added a third checkbox for precinct committee person. This is the first time that we have received a filing form with another option added, and it required us to think about the language in the statute and how we have conducted the PCP elections in the past. After discussing the filing with our attorney and the Secretary of State's Elections Division, I felt that there was nothing in the language of the statute that would prohibit having more than 2 categories of PCPs elected at the primary. So I'm pleased to announce that we have accepted the PCP candidate filing form for Venn Wild, and that we will be creating and mailing to major party voters a more inclusive ballot that will contain 3 offices: precinct committee woman, precinct committee man, and precinct committee person. Each precinct committee ballot in all 113 precincts in Multnomah County will contain filed candidates and write-in lines for the 3 offices. Venn has served the Democratic Party of Multnomah County for 15 years and twice been elected to serve as chair of the County Central Committee. Venn is non-binary, and this will be the first time that they will be listed on the ballot under an office that accurately reflects who they are. Part of our mission at Multnomah County Elections is to identify and remove barriers to participation in the electoral process. Our hope is that this more inclusive ballot design will allow more people to participate in our democracy. The last time the language that governs how PCPs are elected was rewritten was 1979, and I believe that it's time for an update. My goal moving forward is to work with county leadership, the Secretary of State, and the state legislature to find a way to change the statutory language to clarify that all are welcome to participate.
On March 1st, I received from the Multnomah County Circuit Court a judgment, of which this is a copy, affirming my name and gender. I immediately came down here to the elections office to update my voter registration and to file for an office which I've held for 15 years under the gender that I have been coming to recognize and live openly in over the past 4 or 5 years, but which has been inside of me since as long as I can remember. The historic decision by the Multnomah County Elections Division to accept my filing continues a long tradition of open, fair, and inclusive elections in Multnomah County. And to my knowledge, it might be the very first time that such a filing has been accepted in Oregon or in the nation. I'm humbled to think of all of the people who've gone before me who've made this possible. The civil rights movement over the past, well, really hundreds of years. Now my mind is casting back and thinking, oh, it's been longer than that. has made this a path of friendly phone calls and conversations on camera rather than batons or tear gas, which it has been in the past for others. And so I give thanks to all of them and hope that this moment will make the way clearer for anyone else who wishes to step forward and own who they are and live in ways that reflect their most deeply felt sense of identity.